Yo, what's going on, guys? It's J-Mass. I'm currently in the small town of New Salem, Massachusetts. Yes, there's a town called New Salem in Massachusetts. It's right nearby the Quabbin Reservoir, which is the largest body of water in the state of Massachusetts. And I'm going to be going through a little hiking trail today called Bear's Den, as you can see. I've gone on the hiking trail Bear's Den before. It's really nice, beautiful trail, but it's not too long. It's pretty short. It's like about a quarter mile. It's only a 6-acre property, so it's not too long or too bad of a hike, but it is absolutely gorgeous. There are some stunning views of a waterfall at the very end of the trail. You can just go through and wind through the woods, get some beautiful forest views. Bear's Den is a really nice hike. Again, it's right north of the Quabbin Reservoir, so the waterfalls come from streams that feed into the reservoir. I believe it's the Swift River. So I figured I'd take you guys along with me as I hike Bear's Den in New Salem, Massachusetts. Pretty underrated but gorgeous hike. So right here we got the signboard. I'm just going to show you what we're going to be doing today. So I just parked right over here, right off of Nelson Road. We're going to be doing this short little loop. So the waterfall is over here. There's also a little bit of a cool site on the side, a mill site. There used to be an old factory here. As you can see, again, not a super long hike, but it's going to be nice. And the falls are really the main draw. You get some beautiful waterfalls at the very end. Actually, you can see that's what they look like right there. And I believe that's the mill site. This is actually owned by an organization called the Trustees. I hike a lot of the Trustees properties. They're a really good Massachusetts-based organization that focuses on conservation. They have a lot of nice properties, and of course, Bear's Den is one of them. So I'm going to be doing that today, and I'll give you a little bit of the history of the area because it is kind of interesting. So if you haven't seen already on that sign, this actually has some historical significance in terms of the King Philip's War, which in my opinion is probably the most underrated war in American history. Not necessarily underrated in terms of like greatness, because war obviously sucks, but I mean more so as not many people know about it, but it's so important in terms of early American history. So in 1675, there was this really, really important Native American chief known as Metacomet. Today we know him more as King Philip, and that's what the colonists knew him as, King Philip. But his real name was Metacomet. He actually met here with a bunch of other chiefs from different tribes. They all came together and they planned attacks on the colonists throughout a bunch of different towns. I believe Deerfield, Northampton, and there was another. But the King Philip's War was probably one of the most destructive wars in American history, specifically before the Civil War. It led to the destruction of most of New England, especially Rhode Island, Massachusetts, and Connecticut. And the reason it's called the King Philip's War is because it's named after Metacomet himself, who, as I said, met here in 1675. And here is the mill site. Pretty cool. Of course, you got this old rock infrastructure. I don't exactly know when this was built, but I don't know, maybe 18th or 19th century. Very cool though. This of course is the Swift River right here, which feeds into the Quabbin Reservoir nearby and creates the waterfalls we're going to be seeing in a few minutes. So you could probably assume that at one time this mill that was here used the water moving in through this river as an energy source. Pretty cool. So to go back to the King Philip's War, as I stated, Metacomet, or King Philip, he lived in this area. And if you read about King Philip's history, the war's history and all that, it happened throughout much of Western New England specifically. It's a really crazy, underrated war. I actually want to do videos about it in the future because It's such an obscure piece of early American history that not many people know about. And I think it's important because, you know, before the Revolutionary War, the King Philip's War was the Great American War. And it was mostly centered here in New England. Oh, this is pretty cool. Look at this. Looks like people were inscribing their names in this rock, in the moss. That's kind of interesting. Huh. Of course, you got more of the river here. The other cool thing about Bear's Den is that there's a few little caves. I believe that's one up there. Near the waterfall, though, there's another cave that you can actually go inside. It's super narrow, but you can go inside and it's pretty cool. Huh. Very beautiful area. Actually, if you're wondering why this is called Bear's Den, it's because around that time in the late 1600s, there was a black bear that was shot on this property. It's kind of an underwhelming reason why, but yeah, it was named after a black bear that was shot on the property. So, very fitting name for that. And we made it. The Waterfalls at the very end of Bear's Den. Once again, here's the Swift River, which these little falls here feed into. And these are those caves I was talking about, so you can actually go inside these, which of course I'm going to do in a second. Huge cliffs in the area too. There's all these massive rock formations. It's just a very beautiful area. But yeah, this is Bear's Den. Very short hike. Literally took me less than 10 minutes to get here. But it's pretty rewarding. But I definitely want to check out these caves. This is obviously the smaller of the two. Yeah, it's a dead end. Just kind of ends right there, but that is cool to check out. The first time I came here, I actually thought these were the bears' dens themselves. You know what I mean? I thought like bears hibernated in here, but... And this is the other. Just trying to watch my step. This one, it might not look it from this angle because it does look narrow, but you can go inside that. I'll actually set up my tripod in a second to show you guys. But you can go inside this thing. Let me see if I can show you. It is very moist and damp in here. All right. Yeah, this is the inside of this cave. Again, very narrow. And compared to outside, where it's like just super hot, it's actually pretty cool in here. Very cool and moist. And that's one of the waterfalls right there. Yeah, very gorgeous area. Yo, what's going on, guys? You like my new house? I don't have to pay property tax on this, which is good. All right, I'll catch you later. This is kind of cool. So I'm at the pool near one of the waterfalls and got a lot of fish swimming around, which is definitely interesting. Over here is the bigger of the two waterfalls. I should have prefaced this though by saying that these aren't like massive waterfalls, or pretty small ones, but still pretty beautiful nonetheless. Yeah, there's one of them. And they feed right down here into the river. Very beautiful. I'm on a very precarious spot right now. But that's pretty much Bear's Den, to be honest. Very small area, but again, very pretty. Hey, thank you guys again for joining me. I've been Jay Mass as always, and this has been another New England adventure, this time at Bear's Den in New Salem, Massachusetts. It's a small hike, as I said, only about a quarter mile, 6 acres, but absolutely gorgeous, lots of beautiful scenery. And of course, you get a lot of early colonial history, from that historic mill site nearby to the obscure history of the King Philip's War, knowing that Metacomet actually met here with a bunch of Native American chiefs to plan his attacks on the colonists. I absolutely love Bear's Den, and I enjoy coming here from time to time, and I'm definitely going to do that again in the future, and I would recommend you do too. So thanks for joining me. I've been Jay Mass. A bug just flew in my eye, and this is New Salem, Massachusetts, Bear's Den. Catch you on the next video. See ya.